There are many hidden features and upgrades in No Man's Sky that you kind of just have to figure out as you explore the massive, wondrous universe. I think that the improvements to the Starship we're going to go through today, most players may not know about. The Starship trails and figurines add massive bonuses to your maneuverability for your Starship, and most players, I think, don't use them. We're going to be testing the Starship trails and figurines today on my newest creation, my custom Starship behind me, SH4 Morio, which was a name given to it by the game itself, and it's kind of stuck. It is an S-Class, of course, because why would you build a ship that is an A-Class? I suppose you could upgrade it, but nonetheless, always build an S-Class ship. It's got some nice supercharged slots available, and it did have one upgrade, which was this S-Class shield deflector. There are no other upgrades on this ship for this test of the Starship trails and figurines. So let's test the ship without any upgrades in it whatsoever, so we get an idea of how good the maneuverability is in this Starship at the moment. So if we take a look at the overall maneuverability for the Starship, it is currently at 502.3. The hyperdrive range is currently at 101. The shield strength is currently at 242.9, and the damage potential is 356.1. We currently have a planet surface cruising speed of 142, and if we press the boost, we'll get reasonable 194 for a fighter ship. To get the Starship trails and figurines, come to the Quicksilver Synthesis Companion here, go into create exotic items for Quicksilver, make your way past the first line of Quicksilver items and come down to here, and we'll have the Stealth Starship trail here, Chromatic Metal Starship trail, and then various other figurines and Starship trails about. And they will cost you a varying amount of Quicksilver. For example, the Golden Starship trail here cost 800, whilst I know that the Chromatic Starship trail cost 2,100, and so does the Stealth by the looks of things as well. The only one I couldn't get was the Temporal Starship trail, because that is Expedition 7 reward, and I haven't completed Expedition 7, so I cannot get my hands on that Starship trail. Another way to get them is to look at your Expedition rewards Starship. So for example, the Boundary Herald had a figurine in it which I could take out and put in any other ship I wanted, and for example the Golden Vector has the Golden Starship trail which you can take out and put into any other Starship. So let's have a look at the Starship itself and go into the technology. So your Starship trails and figurines can only go into the technology slots, and this is more of a late game thing to have in your Starship. You want it all kitted out with all the slots so you can have as many upgrades as possible. When you're starting out and you're finding Starships or building them or trying to repair them, you may not have the amount of slots required to fit everything in. So how would I set this up, I hear you ask? Well, we're going to go with the Polo figurine first. We're going to put him right in the middle. We're going to grab Artemis, and we are also going to put him next to Polo. And as you can see, we have adjacency bonuses here. If you want to put them in some supercharged slots, go for it. I'm going to test that out in a bit as well. So Polo gives us 5% maneuverability, whilst Artemis gives us 5% boost. What we're going to do is surround these two in some Starship trails. So let's go with the Chromatic one first. Put that above here. We're going to go with the Cadmium one next to the Chromatic one. And these Starship trails, all of the Starship trails, give you 1% boost. But when you get the adjacency bonuses, it really does help to push the bonuses through the roof. We're going to put the Sputtering one next to Polo here. We're going to get the Golden Starship trail and put it underneath Polo. This is where I would put the Temporal Starship trail if I had it, underneath the Sputtering and adjacent to the Golden. We're going to get the Stealth and put that one next to the Golden Starship, and then the Emerald is going to go next to Artemis, just like so. So you've got this, you know, nice sort of squarish thing. You know, it looks good. It's all good. And then we're going to put in some of the other figurines. Now, the Atlas figurine here, this will give you 50 extra light years in terms of your hyperdrive. But if we put it next to the hyperdrive, it will not give us an adjacency bonus. So it seems. It will give us the 50 hyperdrive. That was 101, if you remember. Let's take it back out. 101, put it back in, and we've got 151. Then we're going to go with the Nada figurine here. He gives us minus 10% launch fuel cost. Going to put him up here in the corner. We won't see that in our current stats, but we certainly will feel it in our launch fuel. We can also go with the Null figurine here. He is going to give us a 5% shield. Put him next to the shields. He's not going to give an adjacency bonus, so we can put him up here or down here in this little section. We've then got the Apollo figurine. Now the Apollo figurine gives us 8+ damage. But when I put this in last time, it didn't upgrade the damage potential. But let's put him in. And nope, it still hasn't upgraded the damage potential. If I put him in the supercharged slot here, does not upgrade the damage potential. Then we've got the Tentacle figurine. This gives us a 5% boost. So if we put him in, he will give us an adjacency bonus to our Starship trail. So it might be worth moving Apollo and putting the Tentacled here, because that is going to give us adjacency bonus across. Now our maneuverability has gone up to 542.6 just by adding in these ones here. Let's try and put them in these supercharged slots and see what happens. By putting Polo and the Chromatic Metal Starship Trail into the supercharged slots that were next to each other, we've now gone up to 598.9, almost 600 maneuverability without any other upgrades whatsoever to our Pulse engine. So that's pretty good. I like that a lot. Let's see what it looks like when we are cruising around a planet. This is all of the figurines and Starship trails not in supercharged slots. So remember, it was 142 and 194. If we go to a boost, we're still going to get the 142. But if we do actually, sorry, this is cruise. If we go to boost now, we get 245, which is pretty good. It does feel a lot better in the turn when you are cruising over land. I can't see much because there's a storm going on. But as you can see, it has upgraded the boost potential there. This is in the supercharged slot. So normal cruise, 142, go into boost. And we've gone up to 256, 254-ish, 256 again, 257, just in the normal boost across a planetary surface. So it has gone up a tiny bit. Let's have a look what it does to a starship that has all of the upgrades installed for the Pulse engine. As you can see, I've got all of them in, I think, pretty much. And our maneuverability is currently 1,278.5. Let's see how much difference it makes to the Starborn Phoenix. I've added them all in here, and our maneuverability has gone up from 1,278.5 to 1,358.3, and I'm pretty sure this is the best way to put them in. I don't think it's going to go up. I think it's just going to go down. So if I move these two here, it's still 1,358.3, so it doesn't really make a difference. If I put the tentacled figurine down here again, doesn't really make a difference. So I think this is probably the best way to go about it. If we take out the Atlas figurine here, our hyperdrive is 1806. If we put it in, it will be 1899. So that's pretty cool. Let's put it adjacent to here. So the Apollo figurine gives us 8 damage, but you don't seem to actually put the stats up. But you don't. If we put Atlas over here, it still stays at 1899. So our hyperdrive and our maneuverability is through the roof. Our damage potential is pretty good. It could be better. I do have, by the way, the infra knife, just so you're aware. But yeah, I mean, it's added a ton of maneuverability. Let's see what it feels like cruising and what kind of levels we're getting when we are cruising using the Starborn Phoenix. So at standard cruise, we get a nice 152, which is 10 more than it was on the standard Starship at cruise. But if we go into boost, you get a very nice 440 something, 430 in the turn. If we turn around this mountain, it's just so good. It just does make such a difference. Really good, really nice, lovely old stuff. So yeah, there's the Starship Trails and Figurines explained. Just one other thing to note before you do switch off the video is that when you are when you have these Starship Trails fitted to your Starship, all of them fitted, it will default to the chromatic metal visual coming out of your engines, which is this like rainbow thing, which I'm not particularly a fan of. I just don't see why you'd want rainbows coming out the back of your Starship, but if you're happy with that, that's fine. Or if you go into first person and you use that more and you don't notice it, that's fine as well. If you take that out, it will then go automatically to the cadmium. I believe it goes chromatic, cadmium, emerald, stealth, golden, temporal, and then sputtering being the last one. But if you want those maneuverability bonuses, then you know you're gonna have to put up with it, unfortunately. I wish there was a way you could change it, but as far as I am aware, there is not. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've learned something today if you didn't know about the Starship Trails and the Figurines. Hopefully I will see you in the next video. Take care out there, and bye bye.